This was not just another ordinary dive into the sea. The journey had a destination filled with mystery, history, and tragedy. Far out in the North Atlantic Ocean, about 700 kilometers away from St. John, lies the wreck of the Titanic. It rests silently beneath freezing waters, nearly 4,000 meters below the surface. The Titan's mission was to reach this legendary shipwreck. The voyage began on Saturday, June 17, 2023. According to the plan, Titan was supposed to launch the very next morning, on Sunday at 8 a.m. But before it even touched the water, a problem had already been noticed. Yes, there were technical issues in Titan. And yet, despite the warnings, despite the risks, a decision was made. The dive would go ahead. Why was such a dangerous choice taken? What could drive people to risk their lives for a journey so perilous? Welcome individuals aboard the Titan. The first was Hamish Harding, a British businessman and adventurer. He was not just wealthy, he was a true explorer. Hamish had traveled into space with Jeff Bezos. He had also set world records for flying around the globe. For him, the Titanic was another frontier to conquer. The second was Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate. He was not just a passenger, he was the visionary behind Titan. Stockton dreamed of making deep-sea exploration accessible. Not just for scientists, but also for ordinary tourists with extraordinary curiosity. The third was Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a 77-year-old French diver. He was known as Mr. Titanic. Paul-Henri had visited the Titanic shipwreck dozens of times before. For decades, he studied its broken pieces, its scattered remains, and its haunting silence. Few people on Earth knew the Titanic better than him. Then came Shahzada Dawood, a well-known Pakistani business tycoon. Along with him was his 19-year-old son, Suleiman Dawood. For father and son, this was more than just an adventure. It was a dream to witness history together. 5 souls. 5 different stories. But one destination, the Titanic. On June 17, before the dive, Hamish Harding made his last ever post on the internet. He wrote, "The weather is bad, the dive has been delayed. Tomorrow morning, if conditions allow, we will attempt to reach the Titanic." It was a short message. Simple words. But in hindsight, it became a chilling farewell. The Titanic had always been more than just a ship. It was a graveyard. It was a time capsule. It was a frozen reminder of human ambition and tragedy. And these 5 men were about to descend into its watery tomb. After the Titanic sank in 1912, countless expeditions tried to locate it. But the Atlantic Ocean guards its secrets well. Storms, freezing temperatures, and crushing pressure kept explorers away. Finally, in 1985, after more than 7 decades, the Titanic was found lying in 2 pieces on the ocean floor. Its discovery reignited the world's fascination. Dozens of expeditions followed. Scientists studied it. Historians documented it. And filmmakers turned it into legend. In 1995, Canadian director James Cameron made multiple dives to the wreck. 2 years later, his movie Titanic stunned the world. The film didn't just win Oscars, it carved the Titanic into global memory forever. Since then, visiting the Titanic became more than science, it became a dream. But dreams at such depths come with a heavy price. Viewers, going to space is dangerous. But going into the ocean's depths is even more so. The Titanic lies almost 4 kilometers under the sea. Imagine the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. Now imagine 5 of them stacked on top of one another. That's how deep the Titanic lies. At that depth, the pressure is unimaginable, 5,800 psi. That means, on every single square inch, the weight of an elephant is pressing down. Now multiply that by the surface area of a submarine. The result is a crushing force beyond human imagination. This was the battlefield Titan was heading into. On Sunday, June 18, 2023, Titan began its dive around noon. The descent to the Titanic usually takes about 2 hours. For the first hour and 45 minutes, everything seemed normal. Then, suddenly, the mothership Polar Prince, waiting on the surface, lost contact with Titan. 15 minutes before it should have reached the Titanic, Titan disappeared from the grid. At first, no one panicked. At such depths, losing wireless signals was common. They thought it was just a technical glitch. But time passed. Hours turned into anxiety. By 7 p.m., when Titan was supposed to resurface, there was still no sign. At 9:40 p.m., the Polar Prince contacted the U.S. Coast Guard. Titan was officially declared missing. The next morning, an international rescue operation began. The US, Canada, and even France joined the search. Ships scanned the surface. Planes flew overhead. Sonar systems searched the depths. Commercial vessels in the area were also instructed to stay alert. For 2 days, the search continued. The world watched with bated breath. Families prayed. And hope began to fade. Then came a breakthrough. On Wednesday, June 21st, faint underwater sounds were detected. Banging noises, picked up by sonar. Rescuers rushed ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, to the spot. The world held its breath. Could it be them? Were they still alive? But after hours of scanning, nothing was found. The sounds remained a mystery. And the oxygen clock was ticking. Titan carried enough air for 96 hours, 4 days. By Wednesday night, 3 of those days were already gone. Still, rescuers didn't stop. On Thursday, June 22nd, ROVs were sent to the Titanic wreck itself. And then, the truth was revealed. At 3:48 p.m., one ROV spotted Titan's tail section. It was lying just 1,600 feet away from the Titanic wreck. Pieces of the submarine were scattered on the seabed. There was no hope left. Titan had imploded under the crushing pressure of the deep. It had been destroyed instantly. The passengers never even knew what happened. Experts say the implosion would have taken just 0.3 seconds, faster than the human brain can process. The world was shaken. 5 lives were gone. And questions were raised. Why was Titan built differently? Why was it made of carbon fiber instead of traditional steel or titanium? CEO Stockton Rush had admitted in 2021 that he had broken some rules. He wanted innovation. He wanted something new. And so, Titan was built with aviation-grade carbon fiber. It passed early tests, even under pressures of 10,000 psi. But experts warned, the ocean is unpredictable. Pressure, currents, unseen forces, all attack a vessel in ways no test can fully simulate. And there had already been warnings. In 2019, businessman Carl Stanley rode Titan. During his dive, he heard cracking noises in the hull. At the time, he ignored it, trusting OceanGate's engineers. But after the tragedy, he admitted, those noises were likely early signs of structural weakness. Even in 2018, an OceanGate executive had raised alarms. He said, if this design fails, it will fail suddenly, without warning. And that's exactly what happened. The Titan set out to visit a wreck. But instead, it became a wreck itself. It carried men who dreamed of adventure, history, and discovery. Instead, they became a chilling reminder of nature's power. The Titanic claimed over 1,500 lives in 1912. More than a century later, it claimed 5 more. History had repeated itself, in the same waters, under the same silence. Viewers, the story of Titan is a lesson. It teaches us about ambition, innovation, and risk. But it also reminds us of the ocean's unmatched power. Human beings have walked on the moon. We have sent rovers to Mars. But the deep sea, even today, remains Earth's final frontier. Titan tried to cross that frontier. And in doing so, it became a part of the very history it sought to explore. Thank you so much for watching this video of Luxury Facts Views. We hope you found it informative and moving. Don't forget to like and share. And we'll see you again in the next video, with another extraordinary story.